What's going on, everybody? Thanks for checking in with Callie. Please subscribe if you haven't. This is a tough blow for the Clippers. This is a huge blow for the Clippers, really, in regards to Russell Westbrook. He's the type of guy that brings energy, effort, and he's really probably the leader of the team. If you think about vocalist, somebody who speaks out, somebody who holds everybody accountable as much as he holds himself accountable every time he steps on the floor. And I feel like he's that type of guy that they listen to in the locker room. Even Kawhi, probably listens to Russ because, Russ is the type of guy that's going to, mimic what he says through his mouth on the court. He's not going to talk it without walking it. He's just that type of guy. And his locker room presence definitely will be missed, but also his gameplay too, because he brings athleticism. He does bring his quickness still, his quick bursts at times where he can just get to the rim and attack a team, when he's feeling good, and, his playmaking ability. He kind of gives the Clippers an offset playmaker in regards to finding players and not really looking for his own shot, but coming out there giving that high spirited energy along with, his passing ability that's been underrated, throughout the years, some just because he's always been a volume scorer. So when you think about that in totality, that's a huge blow for the Clippers because the expectancy of him always being there and how durable he's always been. You just expect Russ to always be on the court. You never expect Russ to miss games. And like I said, when you're playing teams like Minnesota and the better teams, Russ is the type of guy you actually want in your corner because he's going to bring that energy, that effort, and he's going to bring that dog with him. And see, in the playoffs, you got to hope he comes back way before the playoffs, and which I believe he will be back, but really there is no foreseeable time for his future in regards to reports out there. So you got to hope he comes back for the playoffs anyway. But if he can, that definitely is a huge, lift for the Clippers. And it'd be nice if he can actually come back maybe like a week or two before so he can kind of get a rhythm again because, now it's to the point where, okay, Bones is going to get more playing time now, and this is what Bones wanted, and that's good. But now they're going to have to depend on Bones to kind of be what Russ was, and that's really hard to do because even though Bones could shoot better than Russell Westbrook from the perimeter and things like that, he doesn't have the impact that Russ will have defensively and things like that because there's times where Russ will get steals, where Russ will go up and, block shots, and Russ will surprise you with a couple of blocks here and there. I've seen him block a couple centers and, bring that energy and that dog and that fight in him. And I don't think Bones has that, or at least not yet within his career, in his young career. But we got to hope that Bones can really sustain, what his energy level in regards to that spark off the bench the Clippers will need, because now it's more on Norman Powell to just be that spark, and which he is because he can score at any given time. But him coming off the bench with Russell Westbrook was a treat for the Clippers because you had one guy who had athleticism in Russ, get to the paint, get easy baskets, get the other team in foul trouble when he wants to be aggressive, play make at the same time, and like I said, be a leader for the second unit, along with Norman Powell, just a flat-out scorer. That their combination was very good as far as bench players and what they provided for the Clippers bench-wise. So now you got to hope that, Bones, because he doesn't play the defense that Russ can play, he doesn't play with that tenacity that Russ plays with, you got to hope that he can provide enough offense, for the Clippers off the bench to allow them to, be able to keep rolling and keep winning, going within the playoffs. So, it's a lot you're asking out of Bones now at this part of the season, which is the most, toughest part of the season, along with the most important part of the season after the All-Star break, to kind of get ready and gear up for, basketball at its highest. So, we gotta just hope, that, Bones can do it. And I believe I got confidence in Bones. I really do. I believe he can, contribute at least offensively, for the Clippers and everything. So, that'll be huge, for them if he can continuously do that, consistently. Because like I said, defensively, he's not really that sound defensively. But at the same time, I think he is a valuable asset for the Clippers, especially if he can get into a rhythm himself and keep his rhythm as sharp as possible. I think that will bode well for the Clippers in regards to, having at least an extra offensive weapon off the bench. And Bones can play make as well. So I'm not sleeping on his playmaking skills at all. He can play make. He can, he can go and he can give you a few assists a game. If he gets enough minutes, he can give you 6 or 7 assists a game if he gives you enough minutes. So, the only thing with Bones is sometimes he's a wild card. He can kind of get a little trigger happy, a little, a little too excited while he's out there on the floor and make some boneheaded plays. And that's not too big of a deal because, Russ can do the same thing at times, but Russ is, a veteran. So, Russ does things a little bit more, different, what I'm saying, and a little bit more impactful as well. So like I said, you just got to hope that Bones can, keep his composure and build every single game. That's the Clippers going to need for him. Just build every single game and build your confidence every single game because they're really going to need him. He's really a key part of what they're going to be doing going forward. So, you just hope that he can continue, to just build and, play within his means and not do nothing too crazy playing outside of his square. So, I mean, that's pretty much all we need from Bones at this point. So, but shout out to Russ, though. Like I said, it's just, him being hurt is definitely impactful because, like I said, you're missing a Hall of Famer on the floor. And anytime you're missing a Hall of Fame superstar caliber type player like that, it just makes an impact on a team. It just no matter how you slice it, it just does. So, but they still got enough to win. You still got Kawhi, you still got PG, and you still got James Harden. That's a lot right there. And so maybe Russ can maybe try to find his way back possibly before the playoffs and, get his hand right with his fractured hand and everything and get that going. It was kind of like a crazy, like freakish type play or something like that, when they played the Wizards where, he was going for a steal or something like that and his hand got bent. It was kind of like awkward, but, I think it's something that Russ can overcome. Russ is a fighter type guy. He will definitely fight his way through it. And, I mean, Russ is the type of guy, don't be surprised if Russ comes back a little bit earlier than what projected because he's just that type of person. So, I definitely know that he's going to do everything he can to get back, but that leader part, that leadership value, and him coming on the floor, bringing that leadership on the floor is just what the Clippers are going to miss a lot, especially in some of these games where they're playing some tough teams. Like, you got the Milwaukee Bucks coming up next, which that's going to be a tough one. You just played Minnesota. That was a nail biter by 1 point. That was, definitely came down to the wire. And then you got some other games coming up as well. So his leadership and all that's going to be missed, but definitely, hopefully not gone forever, at least throughout this season. Definitely, hopefully he'll be back maybe before this season going into the playoffs, which would definitely give the Clippers, the upper hand having an extra Hall of Famer like that.